That's it, I'm turning back. I know your family's waiting. I know it's an important day. All right, we'll give it a try. I'll set your coordinates. I won't jump far. I'll get you back there in time, pal. Trust me. Our only hope now is to outrun that Imperial garbage scow, though. I'm going to light speed. That's the spirit. You'll be celebrating Life Day before you know it. Stand by. Here's where we say goodbye to our unpleasant friends.
Hello, Carnies, and welcome to a very special Star Wars episode of Sideshow.
Of the Star Wars Holiday Special.
That's right. Star Wars, the Last Jedi came out this week, and Joe and I decided to go back 38 years, and review, in the spirit of Christmas and holidays, the acclaimed Star Wars holiday special from 78. Right. November 78.
Yeah, this is the infamous Star Wars Holiday Special in which George Lucas said if he had enough hammers and enough time, he would destroy every copy of which.
That was followed up by Carrie Fisher saying she would play it all the time at parties at her house, at the end of parties when it was time for people to leave to help get people out the door.
She also had a provision in her will that she would be buried in a giant Xanax pill.
So take that for what it's worth. So seriously, the Last Jedi comes out this week, so now it is officially 10 Star Wars, feature length films, and I think out of the 10, this ranks 12th.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think this is canon.
Overall impressions, Joe. First of all, happy holidays, Merry Christmas,
Merry Christmas, Happy Life Day.
Happy Life Day. So yeah, this aired on November 17th, 78. It preempted the Hulk and Wonder Woman.
They were pissed.
You want to know my secret? I'm always angry.
And this is why.
Right.
That's sort of the origin story of why Bruce Banner is always angry. But yeah, this aired, I think, actually, did it air twice? Just
one time only.
Just one.
Much like the Paul Lynde Thanksgiving and Halloween specials.
But this came out in an era of specials, and this was essentially a cash-in. I don't think, honestly, you can check Wikipedia. George Lucas had zero to do with this creatively. He just handed over the licensing and merchandising or whatever he wanted. Basically, he bought a 2-hour commercial for Star Wars toys.
Right, and the copy that you have that we watched a couple weeks ago or a week ago, I think that was the one I saw on YouTube, was embedded with all the original Star Wars commercials inside the program.
Yes, and we actually watched a very special version because my DVD had the Riff Tracks commentary, which, if you don't know what Riff Tracks is, it's the three of the guys formerly of Mystery Science Theater, Mike Nelson, Bill Corbett, and Kevin Murphy. And they did a pretty decent job of making it palatable to the modern ears and eyes.
I will say, with the riff tracks, the highlight of it was their riffing on the car commercials of the era. They come out broken.
Yeah. Right. This was sponsored by General Motors for a bulk of it, aside from, of course, Kenner. And I think, what was it? Sheer Undergarments? What was it?
That was one of the big sponsors.
Yeah.
This came out in the golden age of the period that reigned supreme in variety shows, TV variety shows, and cocaine.
The chocolate and peanut butter of pop culture.
And I think there was a lot, who's the writer that you sent me the link?
Bruce Valanche.
Yeah, and he essentially said the same thing. And so you had all the Star Wars characters, or you had most of the Star Wars. You didn't have Darth Vader, but you
did, but not live action.
Right. You had James Earl Jones.
Stock footage, right?
It was stock footage. And that opening scene, too, with Han and Chewy, that's definitely stock. They didn't go back and shoot, I don't think.
No, that was brand new dialogue.
No, the dialogue inside, but the exterior
all the battle, anything that involved ILM was not made up for this special, yeah.
And it looks like, honestly, you had Harrison Ford give a day to the shooting. I mean, it's like their appearance in the opening credits was almost as long as their appearance in the actual episode.
I kind of wonder if their contracts were rushed through like Congress's tax bill. Like there was some secret provision in their contracts that said they must appear in a shitty television special in between the first movie and the second movie. But
and did you find out? Okay, so give the overall arcing premise.
Oh, okay, good. So the premise is that Han and Chewie are away from Chewie's home planet, which is Kashyyyk. So they're trying...
With 3 Ys.
Thank you. Right, because 2 would be stupid. So they're trying to get back in time for Chewie to celebrate the Wookiee holiday known as Life Day, which is a non-denominational kind of... It's not quite Christmas, it's not quite Kwanzaa, it's not quite Hanukkah. It's somewhere in between. And so they're trying to get back home so that he could celebrate Life Day. And before you get to the real action, you have to sit through the home life of the 3 Wookiee relatives that live in Chewie's house. His wife Mala, his son Snippy, Lumpy, and his grandfather Itchy. And yeah, they all live in the same sort of like, it almost looks like an Endor-esque kind of planet, but it's not Endor, it's Kashyyyk with 3 Ys.
And you're privileged to the first, I want to say first 3 hours, but it's probably really the first 10 minutes. Once you cut away from the opening scene of Han, outrunning the Imperial destroyers to get Chewie back there, and you cut to the home life, it's 10 minutes with no discernible dialogue. It's just the Wookiee grunting language that is...
We'll play it underneath us while we talk about it.
Yeah.
Because it is just too hard to pass up.
And it's you can't understand a word. It's very easy what they're saying. The mom's trying to get the son to take out the garbage, and they argue over that in Wookiee for a good 3 or 4 minutes.
Little known fact: Mala was Shields from Shields and Yarnell. No,
the thing is, no one's gonna know.
I know.
My second cousin's uncle's neighbor was the 14th stormtrooper on the left. So,
oh wow, you must be proud.
I really am. That's a claim to fame. But seriously, Grandpa's sitting there whittling, and the son, who's asked to take 5 steps over to pick up the trash and take 5 steps to bring it outside, and yet it's arguing honestly for a good 6-7 minutes.
Millennial Falcons, I'll tell you.
And it is. It's painful.
Very much so. I mean, they didn't even do us the honor or courtesy of giving us subtitles.
Right.
Because that would have been too much work to write an actual script.
Lumpy, come take out the trash.
You got to imagine, what does a script look like? Like on paper. I wonder if there is a paper script somewhere.
Lumpy grunts for 3 minutes. Itchy looks confused and grunts back.
Itchy jacks it for 5 minutes.
Which we do have we get to that basically.
Yeah, so that's sort of, I guess, I don't know, is that jumping ahead? Oh, wait, here we go. So there's Lumpy taking out the trash that he argued with his mother for at least, 12 minutes?
This whole time we've been talking, like Joe's playing it in the background and we're looking at it. So what ends up happening? So again, it's a variety show. And so they have to force in songs and dance numbers.
Let's talk about the cast, maybe, the supporting cast.
So you got to remember, this is shot like, late, probably early 78. And the people who are in this cast, aside from the Star Wars people who are huge at this point, are all household names.
Yeah, they're all veterans of the stage and screen, and we have Beatrice Arthur, we have Arthur Carney, we have Harvey Corman. I think that pretty much rounds it out.
Jefferson Airship at the time was a huge
Jefferson Starship. I will take you outside and fight you if you get that wrong again. And then also Diahann Carroll, right?
Who was in a role that wisely, Cher said no to.
Right.
Seriously, the list of people who said no to this, of course, to say yes.
Which side character do you want to talk about first? Do you want to talk about the Diahann Carroll side character?
Well, okay. So what ends up happening is, so most of this takes place in 1-2 rooms in the Wookiee's house.
Yeah, they have a studio. What do you call it? Treehouse?
Right. And the only time you see Princess Leia and C-3PO and R2-D2 and Luke, they make one Skype call, basically each. Like that's their participation in it. And what's great is they keep having to, to come up with these reasons to make these phone calls and to inject humans into the scene just so they can translate. That's how they end up. That's the modus that they use.
What's that, Mala? Han fell down the well?
Right. You want me to follow you? And so they're at the house, and then is it Harvey Corman who comes in first? And
It's no, Harvey Corman plays multiple characters, but Art Carney plays the one sort of traitor,
right?
That sort of is befriended by the by Chewy's family. And he comes over and gives a special delivery, kind of a Life Day present delivery. I guess the Life Day version of Santa Claus, maybe.
Right. He comes bearing gifts.
Yes, exactly. So he comes bearing gifts. Wait, we're looking at the Cirque du Soleil segment, which is.
Oh, okay, right. So after going through the incredulous chore of taking the garbage 3 steps in one direction, Grandpa decides, what is their equivalent of TV, which is, as you know from Star Wars, the holographic chess game that they play. So it's like that, but as Joe will say,
it's kind of like an Xbox 360 on acid. Like it can on 360. Look at me being dated. An Xbox One on acid. I mean, it's essentially. It is literally a Cirque du Soleil performance that they're watching. This is the first time Cirque du Soleil apparently made a television appearance, and regrettably not the last.
And so you're right. So it's a hologram that kind of is on that same chessboard-y table, but then one of the characters kind of morphs off it. It is still in holograph form. And I think after watching this for about a minute and a half to 2 minutes, I will steal the riff track guy's line. I think having watched this, I am now legally gay.
Is this what goes on in Ryan Seacrest's mind all the time?
I mean, it's a little interesting, pantomime meets
it's gymnastics,
low grade gymnastics, But yeah, so that's his reward for taking out the trash. So this is how they introduce the dance number, the first music song number. And then the trader comes in and he basically sets up Grandpa with his porn chair.
Right. So Art Carney comes in with a special delivery for Itchy, the grandfather. And there's a I guess it's kind of like a VR seat. You sit down and there's like this helmet thing that comes down over your head and with a visor in front. And you can watch holographic images and videos. And apparently the one that they picked out for Itchy to watch in front of the entire family making dinner, by the way. Yep. Well, I'm sorry, Mala making dinner because, get in the kitchen and make us a sandwich, will you? It's still 1978. But he's watching this. It's supposed to be porn, but it's not porn. It's just supposed to be titillating.
Right. So, hey, it's pre-Cinemax porn, and so she's wearing, so it's just a song, basically, and again, kind of athenic, the picture-in-picture, really rocket man kind of technology.
I think I queued it up here on YouTube.
Let's hear it.
Unless this is Jefferson Starship.
So he has the virtual reality headset on, and he's watching these shimmering lights, and it looks like, it's
a kaleidoscope.
Kaleidoscope, and the Cirque du Soleil people wearing tadpole kind of outfits swimming around.
Dancing sperm, I call it.
And then it morphs into, the song.
Yeah, this is unbearable. I'm going to have to skip forward a little.
Yeah, please.
I am found in your eyes only. I exist for you. I am in your mind as you create me. Oh, yes. I can feel my
Jacques, I have to leave the room.
Well, here's the best thing. Grandpa doesn't leave the room. He's sitting on this chair in the middle of the living
There
room.
he is. But his hands are by his side, so he's classy.
Yeah, I see how.
Unless that's where you masturbate
I
when
do.
you're a Wookiee.
Oh, yeah. Well, you have 3 penises.
Right, oh, God.
All right. You got 1 penis for each wine.
A literal
sheet.
tripod.
So that's the first song number. And then after this, this is where, so.
This goes on for way too long, by the way. And by the way, the commercial breaks, 1 minute,
Right.
90 seconds.
It was a 2-hour special, and it was at least an hour and 40 minutes of this.
I think this aired on daylight savings time when they rolled it back so that it seemed like it was longer. All right, we'll turn her down, even though she's turning us on.
There you go. Yeah. So then then the plot gets really serious.
Well, I guess the ticking clock, or the impending threat, if you will, is that the Empire and Imperial forces are looking for Han. I didn't follow it that
They were
closely.
looking for rebels. They don't necessarily know their names or who they were. Kashyyyk is under martial law, and they have like the viewing screen. That pops on. You're just standing there, and all of a sudden it pops on, and here's like the commander.
Fox News.
Right? The Fox News commander saying you're under martial law, XYZ, and then the panic is like, oh, how's Chewie going to get back? But let's go to a cooking show. Let's go to the comedy.
Okay, so yeah, let's jump to the cooking show. So while actually we're kind of skipping over a lot of parts only because we love you. There are interstitials.
You're welcome.
There are interstitials, like Jacques mentioned earlier, that you see Mark Hamill and C-3PO, or Luke Skywalker and C-3PO Skype in to Lumpy. And then you also are treated to a video call from Princess Leia and C-3PO.
Yep. So you have the one call from Princess Leia and C-3PO, and the one phone call, from Han, from Luke and R2-D2, which in the credits he's credited as R2-D2.
Not Kenny Baker. Or maybe it wasn't Kenny Baker.
It wasn't Kenny Baker.
Right, of course.
It was the entire controls was done by remote by Lucas's receptionist.
Oh, wow.
In the credits, like reading up on it. Yes, sadly, I did a little research.
No, thank you for doing that. So skipping around. So again,
So Mala's in the kitchen, and then she ends up watching a cooking show.
Yeah.
With what's his face?
Harvey Corman.
Harvey Corman, who is this alien creature.
Supposed to be Julia Childish.
But
5 arms, 6
purplish, blackish, 4-8 arm kind, and it's like the slapstick thing. It's like, oh, you put this egg and you stir this egg going left to right, then you push this in and with your other hand go right to left, and here's the Wookiee mom doing it, and then all of a sudden, and then you add this in and a third arm pops out from the side.
And how is she going to do that? Because she only has
she
2
only
arms.
has it. And then a fourth arm comes in,
Right.
and hilarity ensues.
Yeah, thank God for TiVo. Or not TiVo, DVRs.
But
dating myself again.
Hey,
Done in the
at
past.
least you're dating. That's good. Good that you're getting out there.
I'm getting out there.
Right. And okay, so then the thug-footed troopers come to the door.
Yep, and they ransack the place, essentially. They are looking for clues to some sort of rebel interference, or what were they looking for specifically?
Well, like it was hidden. The screen that they were calling Luke on, and the screen that they were calling like Princess Leia on, was inside a cabinet behind the knick-knack shelf.
Yes.
And when the stormtrooper went over there, the real dramatic, he opens the shelf and there's just knickknacks, but he didn't know if you moved that knickknack to anyway.
Right.
But one of the other gifts that was delivered was it kind of looked like a big game of Battleship. That you sat down.
Right.
A briefcase thing. And that's where the Jefferson airplane came in.
What? Oh, was it that? Yeah, because Art Carney brought that in and set it up, and he tried to distract the Imperial officer to watch this, fantastic new innovation in music and sound and lights.
And so like, and honestly, the character who sits down, he's not the head guy who comes in the brown suit uniform, but a guy akin to Dark Helmet.
Yeah, well,
Am I right? We're looking at it now.
it looks like he has like a wiffle ball helmet, like it's
But backwards.
right. Yeah, because he's cool. Yeah, this is. He looks a little like Dave Thomas. Very plain, non-assuming. You think he might have not wanted to be an Imperial officer, like he had aspirations for something bigger, but no.
He wanted to be a dentist.
So he sits down and watches Jefferson Starship perform Can You Light the Sky on Fire?
And now the funny thing is, what's interesting about this video and these videos, so in this day of variety shows, lots of times you would have bands do, and they weren't called music videos at the time. This is at the cusp of MTV. MTV comes out in 78, 79.
MTV comes out in 81.
That's okay. And so that's all of these pre-things end up making it onto MTV. But what's really funny is...
correction. This never made it onto MTV.
But I tell you what this did make it onto. I guarantee if I go back and look, so I want to say it's 87, 88, I end up working with Universal, and they had the largest catalog of this crap. And they want to repurpose every either music video, TV appearance, live concert they have into different kinds of DVD type things. So all of this kind of stuff. And what was amazing is each time we went to do a project to find out who owned this. Literally,
right.
did the band own it? Did Lucasfilm own it? Did Universal own it?
Did CBS own it?
Did CBS own it? I mean, it was so funny every time when we started doing DVD projects for stuff like this, the legal cost on some of it. So what the label ended up doing is like, go ahead, and they would just do everything and put it out there and wait to see who sued them, and they would weigh the risk. Okay, we're only going to sell 20,000 units of this, blah, blah, blah. Maybe we will do a deal after. What's really funny is like, it was so new, it's completely off topic. We did one for Tom Petty. Tom Petty was one of the artists who was smart enough to do his own video. So he owned everything. The label went to release, and Tom Petty's like, oh, that's great. I own all this shit. And they were like, no, oh, you do.
Dagnabbit.
So
Petty.
So stuff like this. So it was a variety show. So they had the dance number with... Circus Olay.
Yep, they had the single porn experience with Diahann Carroll.
And then they have this. So this is how they kind of... And then they have the comedy skit, So she was on TV, like you said, watching their takeoff of the Alien Julia Child type thing. So that's how they got in the song and dance. Oh, now Joe got to the true goal. There is one diamond in the rough. There is one shining moment.
Yeah, I mean, comparatively. So.
Shining-ish, right. It's like you standing next to me and somebody saying, Joe's really smart. Well, Joe's smart because she's standing next to me.
This is like finding a corn in a piece of shit.
Right.
This is of course, we're talking about the cartoon in which Boba Fett makes his television appearance. Actually, no, his worldwide.
His Star Wars appearance.
Right, because he wasn't featured until Empire.
See, anybody who has seen episode 4, A New Hope, in, let's say, the past, 25 years, newsflash, Boba Fett wasn't fucking in it.
Yeah. It does take some reminding because the prequels fucked me up, man. I don't know what's up and down anymore. I need some reminding of what's real.
It is out, black is white. No, so in Lucas's revisionist history, because Boba Fett, who again only had a really, really small part in even Empire Strikes Back, which is really kind of funny because he had a small part in Empire Strikes Back. This whole thing, he has more dialogue in this little 5-minute Boba Fett animated clip than in the entire his dialogue in the entire trilogy, I think.
Yeah, and what the Riff Tracks guys pointed out is that Itchy is watching a cartoon of his own father while his father is missing. So it's like this weird sort of Inception kind of thing.
A dream within a dream.
Yeah. But did this adventure, did it have anything to do with the life day? I forget what was the plot of this cartoon. I don't remember.
I think this was another gift that came as the Life Day kind of packages. And it's like, here's your new Viewmaster viewer. Because back then, this is big where you had the telescope looking, binocular looking thing, the red things, and you would put in the Viewmaster. And it was... Those were being sold at the time, but because this is in space and they're more technologically advanced, although it happened a long time ago.
Well, does that mean that future generations from our timeline are going to be catching up to our technology again?
Right.
because of the apocalypse that is going to be brought upon by a.
What time is it now?
Right, exactly. It's still is 2017, isn't it? So, anyways, yeah. So there's this cartoon, and it has C-3PO. It has all the voice acting from Carrie Fisher and Mark Hamill and Harrison Ford and Anthony Daniels and Boba Fett, who I don't know who did the voice for Boba Fett. Who did the voice for? Who is the actor who did Boba Fett? We should give him a shout out, unless he wants to remain anonymous. But this is the diamond in the rough, as Jacques pointed out. And then unfortunately we're brought back to the harsh realities of Kajirk. What was it?
Kashyyyk,
thank you.
very wise.
I know. I'll never learn. Kashyyyk. So now I guess because his room was ransacked, Lumpy has to put together or fix a module, like a computer module, but there's like a video. It's kind of like watching a YouTube video to learn how to fix your washing machine. You have Harvey Corman as a robotic character instructing the user on how to operate their new computer module, which I don't know what it is. Don Franks, is that it? Okay, all right, great. Don Franks is the Boba Fett voice. Good for him. Rest in peace. I assume he's dead. I don't know if he is.
February 28th, 1932, died just last year.
Wow.
Lucky him.
So another Harvey Corman bit. He plays this sort of Max Headroom-ish robot that is showing the user how to fix their computer module, but it's slowing down and speeding up and basically doing a bad version. Yeah, and it's doing a bad version of the robot. It's completely.
There is no bad version of the robot. Correction.
Sustained. So now we'll skip through this, and now we head into the Mos Eisley Cantina, or is it it's a cantina within Mos Eisley, not specifically the cantina,
but it had the same band.
Well, yeah. Well, it was a Thursday instead of a Friday, so that's where they have their open mics at the.
and of
who's
course,
the bartender?
Credited. We know her. We love her as Bea Arthur.
Yep.
But she is credited as Beatrice Arthur.
Beatrice Arthur. Right. Probably for some union rule that she, slime her way out of.
I mean, at the time, what is mod?
Well, and then there's mod.
And then there's mod, but that was that had to be a top 5 show at the time.
Yeah.
And Carol Burnett had to be a top 5-ish.
I think if I remember correctly, I actually coincidentally watched the Carol Burnett 50th anniversary special, and her show started in '67 and I think ended in '77 or '78. So I think they were rapping.
Okay.
About the same time.
but these guys are on your TV every week.
And then Art Carney was there. I guess he was sort of left over from the Jackie Gleason show, because Jackie Gleason had his own CBS show from Miami Beach. Art Carney.
Nice.
Have you seen any of the Jackie Gleason?
Yeah. On another episode, when I worked for the Dolphins, they put you up as the Fountain Blue, which is where that show was filmed.
Wow.
And it's still like that Miami Dolphin cheerleader thing I did a couple of years ago. It was in the ballroom there. When you walk in, honestly, you fall into 1956.
Great.
I mean, just the vibe in this grand old, Hollywood-esque, and Miami at the time was as much Hollywood.
It was
as
Hollywood East,
right? Yeah.
So anyways, we're digressing because we have to. It's the Star Wars holiday special.
But the point is, so Beatrice Arthur is huge at the time. She's A-list.
Yeah, and apparently I don't know if she insisted.
Yes.
She insisted.
Well, will you be on the show? Yes, but I want to sing. So it was one of those things.
Wow. Right. So it's sort of like, will you work for free? Yes, and I'll pay you $50.
And so they and here's one of the other things. It's like, maybe Lucas claims to not have his hands all over this, but this is one of those, let's force a way to find a way to stuff weird alien creatures into one room to show you how creative we are.
And I guess a D plot of this is another Harvey Corman character who's like the town drunk, the regular, who stumbles in and has a thing for the incomparable Beatrice Arthur, beating him away with a stick as usual.
Right. I mean, maybe that's the most far-fetched thing, that somebody would find her attractive and pledge his undying love.
God will get you for that, Jacques.
And then, of course, the hilarity ensues when she goes to pour him another drink.
Right, because he has a cone-shaped head. Pre-cone? Oh, no, this is around the cone heads, because cone heads are 75. He pours his drink into his cone-shaped hair.
And that's how, but he's mesmerized because he says, as he's leaving, I thought about the words you told me that, it was great to see you. Come back soon. And
also let's mention why this song came up.
Okay.
She's got tipped off that Imperial forces are going to be raiding the place and that she has to close shop. And so she's telling like this whole band of villainy and scum and the band.
You'll never see a more
wretched hive of scum and villainy. So yeah, and then of course the band that plays the Cantina song. So she's trying to shoo them all away to get them out so that she doesn't get her license taken away or get thrown in jail or anything like that. So she implores them to get out by singing a number. And let me play a little bit of that.
Maybe forever.
We'll skip ahead here.
All right, one more round before you leave, and this one's on me. Torque. See what the boys on the bandstand.
Oh, but you skipped the number.
Was it?
Guess
Did I skip the number?
creatures.
There's Greedo. We see Greedo in there. No, I didn't skip it. It's 300 minutes before we get to the number.
But yes, the appearance of Greedo.
Yeah, well, it's the second appearance of Greedo.
Who? Han shot.
Right.
How is he here?
Well, I guess...
And not only did Han shoot, Han shot first.
Just one more round, friend. Then homeward bound, friend. Don't forget me in your dreams.
Or nightmares.
Just one more song, friend. And then so long, friend.
Her dick was long, friend.
I wouldn't fuck you with Bea Arthur's dick.
Just one more.
The great Jeff Ross line.
Friend, yes, it's a crime, friend. But you know time, friend. Time can fly.
I wish. Yeah, so
or grind to a halt.
Yeah, so she's singing this long. God, it has to go on for like 4 minutes, 5 minutes.
So yeah.
And by the way, listen. It's just a slower version of the Cantina song. One-hit wonders.
Seriously, throw him a shilling, have him learn another note.
They were the Green Day of the time.
But yeah, I mean, it's funny. I didn't think about that you just pointed out that Greedo's in this. Greedo was shot.
By the way, that's like saying like there was a black guy and the black guy was shot and oh my God, there's another black guy.
Okay.
There can't be two.
But let's say this is Ohio. You can say that.
Okay.
The black guy got shot.
Okay. I can't edit any of this. I can't edit any of this. So no, but there's multiple people of the Greedo race. What race is Greedo? Who cares?
Right, thank you.
Yeah.
Portuguese, I'm going to say.
Yeah, exactly. You son of a bitch. So that's Beatrice Arthur. So that was great. We're at the 1 hour and 17-minute mark without commercials.
Right.
Yeah. Which, by the way, with commercials, the whole video on YouTube that I'm watching is 1 hour and 37 minutes, which meant there had to have been 40 minutes of commercial. I mean, 20 minutes of commercials.
Yeah, which by today's standards, there's 20 minutes commercials and a half-hour show.
Yeah, right. So this is painful. So let's move along, shall we? Moving right along. So we go on to there's a stormtrooper, and they're back. They're back at the what is Chewbacca's last name? No one knows.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're at Chewbacca's home, and the stormtroopers are there.
It's like a Mario brother, Mario.
Right. And now we're at the point in the film. Television special, not film.
But we're getting to. I'm not going to say it was worth the 2 hours of watching this, but Joe is going to tell you one of my favorite things in the Star Wars universe that happens in this film.
So this is where Han and Chewie finally come home. They encounter the Imperial forces that have raided their home.
Yeah, they left one with he left one stormtrooper behind,
Right.
who was a really thug who was like, basically intimidating the little kid and destroying his room. And
Right, like he ripped the head off his doll.
Right.
Yeah.
His Banta doll.
Gosh darn it. So he had this coming. So what Jacques is referring to as his favorite thing in the Star Wars universe, and I don't know if I can play this or cue it up, but
so Chewie comes. So the little son Lumpy runs out of the house. The stormtrooper is behind him. Now their tree house is they have a couple shots just so you make sure it's 8,000 feet above ground, and so the stormtrooper comes out and he's chasing the son just as. Chewie comes home and Chewie sees this and he runs over and he, stands in front of his son to put himself in between the stormtrooper and son, and that's when Han sneaks up behind him.
Stormtrooper is getting near the banister. Han is sneaking up behind the Stormtrooper. The Stormtrooper is distracted. Judo chop.
Knocks the gun out of his hand.
And there it is, folks, the Wilhelm scream.
Joe, what is a Wilhelm scream?
Apparently, it's it's that stock yell that's, I guess, goes back to the 30s or 50s or something like that. But it's been used in virtually, I think, every Star Wars movie.
Every Star Wars. They use it on Rebels. They use it on the Clone Wars.
I mean, they use it in thousands of other movies and TV shows.
It was. I honestly, I think. Joe and I are going to spend some time over the next couple of weeks putting a list together for sideshows of 2018, and I think the Wilhelm scream should be its own. Wilhelm scream should be its own. It was done in like the late 40s movie that was found by an audio editor in the 50s.
A Foley artist, if you will.
Right. And then it became a kind of a cult classic in that community, kind of a little thing. And the audio editor of Star Wars, used it.
Yeah, and picked it up. And now it's used in virtually everything. Virtually every action movie has the Wilhelm scream somewhere in there, because we're all nerds.
Right, exactly.
Nerds rule.
So Han gets Chewie home.
Yep.
And then they keep getting these. Art Carney's still there, and they keep getting these. The TV keeps going on, and they keep being called the trooper. You haven't reported in. You haven't reported in.
Right. Everything's fine. Thank you. How are you? Boring conversation.
We're gonna have company.
Okay. So long story short, too late. The Imperial forces are thwarted. Now the humans or the humanoids exit stage left, stage right even.
Wish them a happy life. And it's so, this day is for you. You have a great life day.
Right.
Because this day's for you.
Right. This is your day.
Right.
Not our day.
And then honestly, either the writers ran out of ideas or paper to write the ideas. I don't think they ran out of cocaine.
No, plentiful.
So we'll have this big light and them hold these trinkets and then just kind of
they put
walk.
on these robes, but no, they combine their orbs. They're like kind of like snow glowy glowing orbs. The four Wookiees, and then they transform into the opening of Bohemian Rhapsody. And they're all wearing red.
I see a little silhouette of a mouse.
So we see the four Wookiees now like superimposed on a star background, and then they go.
Think of really bad Christmas cards from Sears in 1978.
Yeah, please.
That's a background you're looking at.
Yeah, and then they walk into this there's this sort of like single file solemn march of all of these Wookiees wearing these robes, carrying these orbs, walking in space into this glowing light at the end of the screen. And then I don't know what happened.
Caroline, go into the light.
Right. Yeah. This special is clear. So now we're brought to the final scene, the crescendo, if you will, of the Star Wars Holiday Special. And we're treated to a ceremony unlike any other ceremony you have witnessed on Earth or Kashyyyk. Kashyyyk, damn it!
Three wise. I think
like the three wise men.
Right. I think there's seriously 3 Y's, 3 Z's, starts off with a K.
Right.
I mean, even Russian hockey players look at that name and they're like, what?
And so, of course, no Life Day ceremony would be complete without a song from Princess Leia.
I believe so.
Yeah, a coked or something Princess Leia.
How dare you, sir?
I know.
How dare you?
Right. How dare I make aspersions as such? So here I go. I'm going to pull it up, and may she rest in peace. I sincerely apologize to Carrie Fisher's family for playing this right now, even though they'll never hear it. Just the thought, and it's a sort of like if I play this, I feel like I'm going to be, hearing other family members crying off in the distance. Let's see what this sounds like.
We celebrate a day of peace, a day of harmony, a day of joy we all can share, together joy.
Listen to that mandolin solo.
Right. That's what was lacking in a lot of specials, mandolin solos.
Well, look at close up of Harrison Ford thinking, I'm going to bang her later.
Oh, boy. And then a close-up of Mark Hamill going, I just banged her. And then R2-D2 and C-3PO saying, you want to bang? Ooh, little pitchy dog. This coming from a guy who can't do an Edith Bunker impersonation well.
I can't, but you can.
That one day we'll be free to live.
As I'm listening to this, I'm thinking, what do you have against our listeners, Joe? what did they ever do to you?
What didn't they do?
Oh,
They didn't subscribe or forward our podcast to their friends and family or strangers on Facebook. This is what you get. Of course, you need that extra.
There's no even canned applause. They can't even make the canned applause.
No, this is literally they drop a can on the floor and it rattles. And that's, I think, it.
That's it.
Then it's just credits and they look back. It's like a montage of the good stuff of Star Wars. A New Hope.
A New Hope.
Yeah.
And it was in the opening credits. It was credited as chapter 4.5.
No, that was a joke.
Okay.
That was on the Riff Tracks DVD. You don't confuse the people at home. There was no such thing. That was the Star Wars holiday special. Thank God for YouTube, because I remember before YouTube, hearing about this, and Weird Al even made a video, White and Nerdy, in which his character, he has this brown paper bag that nobody else can see. He looks like he's being all tough and thuggish, like he's going to pull out a 40 or something, and he pulls out a videotape of the Star Wars holiday special. You needed that in order to watch the Star Wars holiday special. And, good luck if you had the 18th generation of the dubbing or the 300th generation of the dubbing.
Yeah. Do you think it mattered?
It kind of doesn't, but it does make it a little bit less annoying to watch with a broadcast quality, I would say.
But it was. This was completely, Star Wars in a bad, rushed late 1970 variety show. Now, again, only Joe and I at Carnival Personnel would take the time to review the Star Wars holiday special the same week that The Last Jedi comes out.
I haven't seen The Last Jedi, so this is just sort of pumping me up. It's just sort of like making me remember that there are good things out there.
Right.
That it can be redemption, like Darth Vader. There can be redemption even out of the Star Wars holiday special.
So
that's it.
So let's recap. So in the month of December, we did Elf. Did we do Elf? We talked about Elf. One of the things we talked about.
We didn't really talk about it. Maybe we did.
Wonderful Life.
Yep. We talked about Scrooged.
All the animated specials.
Yep.
But I'm glad we rounded out the Christmas season with Star Wars. I only wish that everybody else was this was on a video so we could really, because I don't think
I'm glad
our words do it justice.
Well, I think what you can do is you can play this alongside your YouTube video of the Star Wars holiday special, sort of a companion piece.
So
Unfortunately, we should have put in time markers so that we can have people jump around. Anyways,
But any last thoughts?
this was a blast. Happy Life Day to you, Jacques.
Happy Life Day to you, Joe.
And Jacques,